Just in the last few days, it was confirmed, not that we needed to confirm, that so-called president, because I don't believe he was elected fairly, or in fact, honestly, Joe Biden is a pathological liar, as well as his press secretary, Karine Jean-Pierre, and those around him, claiming that he would never pardon his son. Well, he did, and now they have ridiculous excuses as to why they did it. But if you talk about not telling the truth, and if you talk about hypocrisy, it doesn't just extend to the political world, although the professional golf world has become very political with the competition between the PGA Tour, which has tried to eliminate a new competitor, Live Golf, and everything else that is going on in between those two entities. Live Golf just simply wants to exist. It wants to be able to compete. And the PGA Tour monopolist could not stand the competition and did everything they could to kill it in its inception. And who was behind that? Tiger Woods. This is a known fact among the golf media. I have filed a complaint which references to the anti-competitive conduct that occurred. It's Claimant versus Woods, because he and his lawyers and other lawyers on the case representing the PGA Tour, the DP World Tour, which is the European Tour, the official golf world ranking, which sets golf ranking points, allowing players to get into major tournaments, as well as Golf Channel, did everything they could to retard the growth and to harm Live Golf. They all worked together in concert. It was a conspiracy. And regrettably, the lawyers of these entities came forward, lied to the court, committed fraud on the court, and the court, which didn't do its job, which I think got scared that they were going to have to actually allow for a deposition of Tiger Woods, who is, a so-called golf icon, much like our so-called president Biden for the left. Well, he got cold feet and dismissed it. Well, it's going to come back because fraud was committed on the court and the matter is also on appeal. But today, Tiger Woods, who was the mastermind of the anti-competitive conduct, trying to keep live golfers out of major tournaments, trying to deny them official golf ranking points through the official golf world ranking, it's called OWGR, through using other means to harm them on behalf of the PGA Tour. He now sits on the Players Advisory Council and Committee, but he's always been extremely influential. Tiger Woods gave a press conference at a tournament that he's putting on this week, the Hero World Challenge in the Bahamas, and lied to the public. He says how he's looking forward to the two entities coming together and that progress is being made. However, it's the antitrust division of my alma mater, the Department of Justice, that could probably hold it up. All of that is, to use the French, bullshit, because he has tried to harm Live Golf, and he has been instrumental in keeping the two leagues from coming together in any form, although as an antitrust matter, it will never be difficult for them to merge. It's too great a concentration, but they certainly can compete side by side. Tiger Woods is not a nice person. We know that. We know that with regard to other aspects of his life. I'm not going to get into that here. But to hear him make those kinds of statements reminds me of Joe Biden saying, I'm not going to pardon my son. It's simply a lie. So for those of you that want to deify Tiger Woods, think twice. In fact, the golf media refuses to report, by and large, there were a couple articles on the case that I brought for the fraud that was committed on the court by not just his lawyers, but by others. So consequently, this is something that needs to be dealt with seriously. Now let's get on to another subject. Let's get on to the issue of whether or not enough is being done with regard to the appointment of judges under Donald Trump to ensure that we get honest and ethical judges who aren't compromised and corrupt. Trump, we're all happy that he was elected. It's a breath of fresh air. It's a new start for this country that's been destroyed in the last 4 years by Joe Biden and those around him, including Kamala Harris, Alejandro Mayorkas, the so-called head of Homeland Security, etc. But we need to really now focus on getting a legal system that represents the American people, that isn't governed by lawfare, trying to destroy people that are adversaries. And the fact is that the judges that President Trump appointed in his first term, beginning in 2017 after the 2016 elections, were not even in his camp. He didn't know who he was appointing. Those names were given to him by Republican lobbyists like the American Conservative Union or Federalist Society, who make money off of pushing this forward in one manner, shape, or form. He needs to be advised, and I hope to help him do that because I've been in front of many of these judges, and you can read about them in my book, It Takes a Counter-Revolution, Wake Up America, that you can get at freedomwatchusa.org and get it free with a certain level of contribution. But you can also buy it on Amazon and any major bookseller. Tells you the problems in our legal system, which is corrupt top to bottom. But there's also another thing that needs to be done, not just the help of Larry Klayman and Freedom Watch and those around us. And there are people that will be assisting me in this project. It's going to be similar to what Vivek Ramaswamy and Elon Musk are doing with regard to streamlining government and cutting it back. We need to revise our legal system because it is corrupt. Immunity should be taken away from judges. It should be taken away from bar counsel who are trying to eliminate conservative lawyers so we can't challenge the left in court. I've been fighting against this for 14 years with the corrupt DC bar, with two vile, corrupt individuals who run the disciplinary apparatus, Hamilton Fox and Julia Porter. And I'm not the only victim. There are others. Rudy Giuliani was just disbarred. You've got Sidney Powell. You've got Kellyanne Conway. You've got Senators Ted Cruz and Senator Josh Hawley. You've got former Attorney General Bill Barr. You've got Jeffrey Clark, who was a Trump Justice Department official. You've got John Eastman, who was a Trump lawyer, all under investigation. They all want to remove us from the practice of law. Well, we can't let that happen. But who's sitting there at the present time doing nothing? The head of the Judiciary Committee in the House of Representatives, Jim Jordan. As far as I know, in the last 4 years since Biden took office, with all of his corrupt judges, and for that matter, Trump's judges who were not loyal to him, who were not what he thought they were, Jordan has not called one judge in front of the House Judiciary Committee, and that's his job, much less impeach them. So we hope to urge him to do his job rather than going on Fox News all the time and pontificating about what he's going to do. Let's actually do something because we need to clean out the legal system. It is an infested colony of cockroaches right now among many of the federal judges and the lawyers that appear in front of them. And if you need proof of that, quite apart from what the bar associations are doing, which work in tandem, with the left, particularly in the District of Columbia, they're socialists, communists, atheists, you name it, is the fact that nothing has been done. And we need to do that. That's extremely important. So go to freedomwatchusa.org, contribute with tax-deductible contributions to support our cause. We're not getting honesty anymore from even golf so-called icons like Tiger Woods, much less rhino Republicans or those who don't claim to be rhino, who go on TV and don't do the job that they were put in place to do. We need to make sure it's done, and that's why you need to become a member of our Justice League and support us with tax-deductible contributions because we need the help badly. And last but not least, I commend President Trump for giving an ultimatum with regard to the hostages that were taken by Hamas that are still in custody or have been killed, and their bodies are lying, rotting in underground tunnels, sadly enough. President Trump has said, if they're not released before I take office on January 20th, 2025, there will be hell to pay in the Middle East. Again, the media doesn't report things accurately. There's anything that Donald Trump can do with regard to Hamas. They're in their caves, they're in their tunnels. They're dead men, basically, at the hands of the IDF, the Israeli Defense Forces. What he basically was saying, and this hasn't been reported, he's telling Iran that you better make sure those hostages are released, or frankly, and excuse the French, I'm going to bomb the shit out of you. And that's what he should do. And for that matter, he should use as an opportunity to take out the nuclear facilities in Iran and frankly, take out the entire regime and the Iranian Revolutionary Guard. If you don't do it now, you'll never have another chance to do it. So it's one thing to have sanctions and to say, okay, we're going to put sanctions on oil, or we're going to put tariffs on, or do this or that. But the bottom line is that when there's a cancer, you need to go in and you need to root it out. And we're going to have to use our military to do that. And now is the time before Iran actually puts together a nuclear weapon, and they're just days away from it right now. So that's my message for today. I guess there's a common theme here, is that what you hear from Tiger Woods, what you hear from the media with regard to what's going on in the Middle East, what you hear from the head of the Judiciary Committee in the House of Representatives, that, hey, we're looking at all these things, we're doing all these things, and it's not happening. President Trump, I believe, will make sure it happens. But the Republicans on Capitol Hill have been like the Keystone Cops, running around without their heads on. And you cannot depend on them. We cannot let the Republicans do it. We need to be the army. We need to be there for President Trump. And you need to use Freedom Watch as the vehicle to do it, because we're unafraid. And Larry Klayman will do it. That's me, of course. I'm not afraid. So go to freedomwatchusa.org, contribute to our cause with tax-deductible contributions. We need to get bigger. We need more lawyers, more paralegals, more office space, file more cases. Our citizens' grand juries will hold everyone accountable who has violated the law and has committed lawfare, who has weaponized our justice system. Pam Bondi, who will be AG at the Justice Department, she's very good. I know her. She can't do everything on her own, and she's going to have a lot of resistance from the leftists inside of her own department. I'd say 90% of the lawyers and others at the Department of Justice are leftists, and they will do everything they can to block her. We will try to help her in cleaning out the rat's nest, but we need to do it ourselves, we the American people. So again, go to freedomwatchusa.org, contribute to our cause. I don't lightly ask for money. Unlike some groups, I don't start podcasts asking for money. But we do need it, because we have been losing money because the Republican rhinos siphoned off a lot during the last election, and we need the resources to be there for you, because we are your real Justice Department. You have no Justice Department currently, and perhaps when Ms. Bondi takes the reins over there, you'll have it, but she's going to need the help. She's going to need Larry Klayman to back her up, and Freedom Watch. God bless you. God bless your family. God bless America. Remember, the Father and Son will only help us if we help ourselves. I'll be back tomorrow with another special podcast.